They will come now.
They are not coming or
No will come now.
why? You have any exam now? When? Next week? This? Day after tomorrow. This is the problem. Weekdays if you have exam. Okay, we will start. Today we are going to discuss about granulomatous lung disease. What is granulomatous lung disease? Yeah, that means wherever there is granulomatous inflammation. So you have to see the condition. The most important and the most common is tuberculosis. Okay? And what are the others? Any idea? First is tuberculosis. Second is sarcoidosis. Third, hypersensitivity, pneumonitis. So these are the three. In objectives also only these three are there. Tuberculosis, sarcoidosis, so as a prototype. So these three we will be discussing. Granulomatous lung disease, tuberculosis, sarcoidosis and hypersensitivity pneumonitis. Okay, what is tuberculosis? It is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. And what is this Mycobacterium? Acid fast bacilli. Good. It is an aerobic rod. What do you mean by aerobic?
In presence of oxygen.
Yeah, very good. Why this is important is you should know what is aerobic bacilli, what is anaerobic. Aerobic means it needs oxygen. So in lung, where is the maximum oxygen?
Apex.
Yeah, very good. It is in the upper portion. That's why tuberculosis is common in apex, upper portion of the lung. Is it clear? Okay. Grow in straight and branching chain. The cell is composed of mycoic acid, which makes them acid fast. This is our microbiology. These are also weakly gram-positive. But whenever tuberculosis bacilli comes, you should write it acid fast bacilli. The staining is Ziehl-Neelsen staining. Just you belong to this thing?
No.
Okay. So it is an acid fast bacilli. Staining is Ziehl-Neelsen staining. ZN staining. Ziehl-Neelsen staining. Okay? Okay, what is pathogenesis? Okay, which type of immunity?
Typhoid.
Yeah, typhoid. What is typhoid? Delayed hypersensitivity or delayed. So it is a cell-mediated immunity which confers resistance to bacteria as well as hypersensitivity. The pathologic manifestation of tuberculosis such as cascading granulomas and cavitation are a result of hypersensitivity because the cells that mediate immune protection also mediate hypersensitivity reaction. Okay. See, in pathogenesis, whenever tubercular bacilli enters, what happens? Once it enters, it will elicit a delayed type of hypersensitivity reaction. Because of that reaction, what happens? There is granulomatous inflammation. Okay? So, what is that granulomatous inflammation? Caseation, giant cells, epithelioid cells, lymphocytes, all those things is this one, granulomatous reaction. Okay. One more thing, macrophages. Remember this, macrophages are the primary cells infected with Mycobacterium tuberculosis. That's why in granuloma, you will see lot of macrophages. And these macrophages are called? No. No. What is epithelioid cell?
Yeah, it's a group of
Epithelioid cell is a modified macrophage. Any macrophage, if infects with tuberculous bacilli, it becomes an epithelioid cell. That's why it is called epithelioid, means it will look like an epithelial cell. It is not epithelial cell, it is a macrophage, but looks like epithelial cell. That's why it is called epithelioid. Okay. These are the few things you should know. What is primary pulmonary tuberculosis and what is primary pulmonary tuberculosis? The above one is before 3 weeks, what happens? After 3 weeks, what happened? Okay? So this is the mycobacteria. Once it enters the body, the macrophages are infected, and once the macrophages are infected, the macrophages, what is the function of macrophage? To
Release.
phagocytosis. So it will phagocytose the bacteria. Okay?
Yeah.
So once inside the bacteria, the thing is inside the bacteria, inside the macrophage, the bacteria, they will be present and they will proliferate also. Okay. After 3 weeks, what happened? There will be an hypersensitivity reaction. Just now we have discussed, it is a cell-mediated immunity, delayed type hypersensitivity reaction. So this T cell, there will be interaction between macrophage and T cells. The T cells will release interferon, and once it releases interferon, once there is interaction, just at this level you just remember, once there is interaction between macrophage and T cells, the macrophage becomes activated. Okay? So once it gets, what is activated macrophage? Activated macrophage is a macrophage which has, what is NOS? NOS. INOS. Yeah, it is nitric oxide. So this macrophage, it will release chemokines, which means because of these chemokines, more macrophages are recruited. That means more macrophages will come into play. Okay. One more thing. See, a normal macrophage, the function is it will engulf the bacteria. Okay. Whereas an activated macrophage, it has the bactericidal capacity. That means it will kill the bacteria. Okay. So two things are there. The normal function of macrophage is just to kill the bacteria. If it kills the bacteria, nothing will happen. Okay. This is the normal process. See, thousands of people and millions of people, they are getting infected with Mycobacterium tuberculosis. But all are not getting tuberculosis. Why? Because of this phenomenon. Once it gets activated, it will kill the bacteria. Once the bacteria is killed, and if there is no hypersensitivity, that means this part, if it is stopped, only this part is there, then the bacteria enters, the bacteria get killed, nothing will happen to the person. What happens means, if this process continues, then there will be a formation of all this, epithelial cells, caseation, giant cell reaction, everything. Okay? That is the hypersensitivity reaction. Is it clear? Immunity to Mycobacterium tuberculosis is mediated by T helper cells, which stimulate the macrophage to kill the bacteria. Okay? This is T helper cell. If it interacts with macrophage, the macrophage becomes activated. This activated macrophage will kill the bacteria. Okay? So, for this killing of bacteria, there should be interaction between macrophage and T helper cell. If there is no interaction, then what happens? The above one. Only the bacteria gets accumulated in the macrophage and nothing happens. So for killing, this interaction is very important. Okay, this immune response is associated with hypersensitivity. I told you. Once on one hand it is killing of the bacteria. On the other hand, if cytokines are released, then they will recruit more macrophages. That means an inflammatory process is going on. And that all these features, I told you, caseation, epithelial cell, giant cell reaction, all this is because of that hypersensitivity. Okay, there are two types of tuberculosis. One is primary. Second is secondary. What is primary? Primary means
At first.
first. One bacteria enters, there is infection of Mycobacterium tuberculosis, the patient is getting tuberculosis infection. That is primary. Secondary means previously sensitized. He has already infected. Again he got infection. Okay. So this is very important. Okay. First is primary complex, progressive primary, or second thing is secondary. Just now we have discussed a tuberculous bacilli is there, it enters the lung and there is infection. The patient was normal before, now he has got infection. This is primary. Okay. So what happens in primary? There will be a focus of lesion. At the most of the time it will be in the upper lobe, upper part of the lung. Right? Because tuberculous bacilli is aerobic. Okay. So you will have a small lesion here. Along with that, all the organs, they are drained by lymph nodes. Okay. So this part also is drained by a lymph node. That's why you will get lymph node swelling also. That is called lymphadenopathy. Okay. Two things will be there. A primary lesion is there. A lesion is there in the lung. Along with that, there is lymph node enlargement. Okay. This together is called Ghon's complex. Ghon. Okay. These two together is called Ghon's complex. And this lesion is called Ghon's lesion or primary lesion. Yeah.
Caseation are the fluid.
Yeah. Caseation it is only mentioned. This is all tuberculous lesion. Okay. Is it clear? This is primary. What happens most of the time or sometimes, it's not necessary that once tuberculosis disease, a person is infected with the disease and he should have all the complications, this and that. It is not necessary. Sometimes because of some inadequate treatment started but stopped, or the treatment is started but still the focus of lesion is there. So this type of lesion is called latent lesions. Okay. Organism dormant, pulmonary or extrapulmonary. Dormant means, what do you mean by dormant? All your friends are at home. They are all are dormant. You came to the college. You are active. This is the difference between dormant and active. Okay. These two I will explain. These two, just remember. What is your name?
Hello.
You are Umar?
Yeah.
Umar, you? Ahmed. Okay.
Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah, no problem. Just sit.
No.
You are late, but you are giving a good example. I will tell you this too. Okay? Okay. Is it clear? What is primary? Primary complex is this one. Okay? Primary lesion, Ghon's lesion with lymphadenopathy. It is primary complex. Okay. Second thing is, I told you, some of your friends are at home. They are dormant. Okay? And Omar and Ahmed, they thought we should attend the class. So, they came here but they came late. This is secondary. Dormant, they want to become activated. Okay? You are activated from the beginning. This is progressive. Okay? Primary, then it becomes progressive because you came at the time. So, it is progressive. Whereas Ahmad, I am just giving example, don't take it individual. Because like this you will understand better.
Yeah.
So they were sitting at home, then they thought we should go to the class. So previously they were dormant, now they become active. This is called secondary tuberculosis. Okay, secondary. Okay, dormant, it is reactivating. Or sometimes there is reinfection also.
Okay. The symptoms happen in secondary.
Yeah?
The symptoms of tuberculosis. It's happening in secondary.
Yeah?
So the first line is carrier.
Yeah?
The first line of tuberculosis is carrier.
Carrier?
Carrier. The patient has the
Carrier. These carry.
Carrier. Okay, no, this is just we are discussing about the pathogenesis. You just remember. After that, we are going to correlate with your PBL case. Then I will ask you what is your case. Okay? So this is a primary Once the infection progresses, it is progressive primary, and I told you there will be some dormant. If the dormant get reactivated, it becomes secondary. Okay? Okay. Once there is secondary tuberculosis, if there is progression in the secondary tuberculosis, what will happen? There will be a lesion in the apex, along with there is cavitation. Okay? Okay, now tell me. Okay, one more thing. After that, the tubercular bacilli, they can disseminate through the blood. That is called hematogenous spread. Okay? Hematogenous dissemination, you can see there. And these bacilli, they will go to the organs, and there again they will start the same process. They become just like malignant cells. These bacilli will have seedlings and they will grow. So this is called miliary tuberculosis. Small dots will be there in organ, all over the organ, wherever the blood goes along with bacilli. So this is called miliary tuberculosis. Okay. Now come to your PBL case. In your PBL case, there were how many lesions in the lung?
But cavitating the active diabetes surface.
All of you were there in the PBL?
Yeah. Focal lesion.
One is a focal lesion in the middle part.
Yeah.
Here. There was one lesion here. There was a big cavity here. So what is this lesion in your PBL case and what is this lesion? Who were there in my group? You were there. I told you this. I am going to ask. There were two lesions. Okay?
Yes, what
Yes.
primary
And along with that there is lymphadenopathy. So first one, the middle lobe, the lesion here and the middle lobe, that is the primary complex. After that, might be he has dormant bacilli or there is reinfection. It is progressing to secondary. So that's why that patient is having a cavitary lesion. So your patient is having both. One is like a primary complex, second is it is progressing to secondary. Is it clear? Primary, secondary, progressive on? Is it clear?
Yes.
All this is explanation of my previous thing. Okay? If you want to read, you can read. If you remember this, you can write anything. Okay? That's why diagrams are very important. This one is all primary complex. I told you the lesion is called Ghon's focus. It is mentioned here. You can see this one is a Ghon's focus. Okay? After that, if there is progression, it will have like this appearance, or it can get into dormant stage. Once it is dormant, there will be some reactivation, progressing to secondary tuberculosis, then it progresses to form like this. Okay? Cavity caseation scar. Why there is scar in secondary?
Healing.
Yeah, very good. It is healing. At secondary stage, the healing starts. That's why the healing is by fibrosis or scar formation. So all this is the explanation of the previous diagram. Okay. I told you during the first few weeks there is also lymphatic and hematogenous dissemination. In 95% of cases, development of cell-mediated immunity controls the infection. I told you, most millions of people, they are getting infected with Mycobacterium bacilli, but all are not getting tuberculosis. This is all because of this immunity. If immunity is strong, that immune system itself will control. Okay? Hence, the Ghon's complex undergoes progressive fibrosis, often followed by radiologically detectable calcification, Ghon's complex. What happens if a small lesion is there? Patient, he took treatment, okay? Or if his immunity is very strong. So the immunity, the function of immunity is wherever this lesion is there, it will control that. It will not allow that lesion to spread. Okay? So what it will do, initially it will, there is cavity, after that there will be scar formation. After that, the scar gets contracted. I think in wound healing you have discussed this in POD block. The scar gets contracted, it becomes very small. Okay?
Yes.
What is metastatic calcification? What is dystrophic calcification? Metastasis means normal, the calcium is increased in the body, it will deposit anywhere in the body. Okay? Just you forget this. Dystrophic means in our body, if any lesion is there, which is cavity lesion or necrosis, the calcium it will go and get deposited there. Okay, that is called dystrophic calcification. So in tuberculosis also the same thing happens. The lesion is there is cavitation, there is necrosis, so the calcium will come and get deposited. On one side there is continuously the scar is contracting, the lesion contracts. On the other side calcium is getting deposited. So a mass of calcium or detectable calcification is formed in that place, and that is called Ranke complex. Okay? If you take a chest photograph of a person who is very normal, sometimes he will be very normal and you will get a small lesion like this. Calcium is radio opaque, just like bone, a small white lesion will come in the lung. Okay? So this is called Ranke complex. Okay? So this is a healed lesion. The healed, already it has healed. You understood this?
Yes.
Okay, what you are seeing here, can you see something?
Yes.
Yeah, you can see. This is a lung, a part of the lung.
Normal. This is normal.
Yeah. Or this, whatever red you are seeing is normal. Whatever white you are seeing is abnormal. Okay? The periphery of the lung is showing a lesion. Okay? You are seeing a white lesion here. This is pleural surface. Just below the pleura, you are seeing a white irregular lesion. This is one. Second thing is, at the center, this is hilum, you know. What is hilum? The part of the lung, the structures which are entering or coming out, that is called hilum. So this part is hilum, and in hilar area also you are seeing one white lesion here, one white lesion here. What are these three?
Caseation.
Yeah, that whiteness is due to caseation. Good. Okay. Then you have to see what is this and what is this. What is this? This is Vaughan's focus, primary lesion in the lung parenchyma. This is in the lung parenchyma, and these are all lymph node area. So these all are lymph nodes. Okay. So the primary lesion is here, along with lymph node involvement or lymphadenopathy. So these two together is called Vaughan's complex, and this is seen in primary or secondary? Primary. So these are the features of primary tuberculosis. The primary tuberculosis is called Vaughan's complex. Vaughan's complex consists of two things. One is lesion, Vaughan's focus in the lung parenchyma below the pleura, and second thing is lymphadenopathy. Okay? Okay, what you are seeing in this? Remember, this tuberculosis, it is a very easy to understand, and it's very good. Wherever it is present, the microscopy will be same. Okay?
Chronic inflammatory.
Yeah. Granulomatous inflammation, all the features you can write. Okay? By closing your eyes, you can write. Because anywhere in the bone it will be same, in the lung it will be same, in kidney it will be same, anywhere in the body it will be same. Okay? So what are the things you will see in tuberculosis? Necrosis is caseous. So this is caseation. Always necrosis will start from the center. Why? Because if any lesion is there, the blood supply, it gets cut off first from the center. The periphery still will have some blood supply. That's why caseation, necrosis will start at the center. So this is caseation. What is this? Very big cells.
Giant cell.
Very good. This is giant cell. And in tuberculosis, these are called Langerhans cells because the nuclei is arranged at the periphery. Okay? Langerhans cells. What else you will see? Epithelioid cells. So these elongated cells are epithelioid cells. This one, elongated, and these dark dots are yeah. Which type of inflammatory cells? No, macrophage is epithelioid cell. Lymphocyte, because here it is cell-mediated immunity. So you will see lymphocytes, and what are these? This is acid-fast staining, Ziel-Nielsen staining. You are seeing all these red dots are bacilli. These are tuberculous bacilli. So you can stain tuberculous bacilli in the lesion. So this is all the microscopy of tuberculosis. Caseation, epithelioid cells, lymphocytes, giant cells, along with bacilli. Always remember one thing: if this slide is kept in OSPE, don't write the features like this. You have to mention this is the bacilli. Okay? This is the tuberculous bacilli. And these three are the microscopic features of tuberculosis. Secondary. What is secondary? It is the reactivation of the primary or reinfection in a person. Okay? That is secondary. I told you in that previous.
Yeah.
This one. What is secondary? Either it is reactivation of latent or dormant or reinfection. The person get infection and after that he got some immunity. After that there is reinfection in that. So these two are the causes of secondary tuberculosis. Okay, what happens in secondary? A small focus of consolidation less than 2 cm in diameter within 1 to 2 cm of apical pleura. Such foci are sharply circumscribed from grey-white to yellow with variable amount of caseation and peripheral fibrosis. I told you, wherever secondary lesion is there, what will happen? There will be a caseous lesion, a circumscribed lesion. What else it will be? There will be cavitation in that and surrounding fibrosis. A lesion, small lesion with cavitation, that means there is cavity inside that lesion surrounded by fibrosis. These are the features of secondary. What you are seeing here? Okay, one more thing. In which part secondary is more common? In the apex. You have seen in that diagram also, and here also you are seeing the apex is having this one. Can you see this? The white thing all is the secondary infection. Whereas the lower part it is normal. There are no lesions. The upper part of both lungs are riddled. Riddled means packed with grey-white areas of caseation and multiple areas of softening and cavitation. All this is secondary tuberculosis. Can you see this? There are whitish areas along with you have seen dark areas. These are all cavities. Okay?
Yeah. So what is riddled?
Riddled means that means what? How can I explain it? Riddled means an area which is infected with all these lesions. That is called riddle. That this whole area is there, and you are seeing multiple lesions with cavities. So this is called riddle. Riddle with grey-white areas of caseation. So there will be caseation, cavitation, and fibrosis. What is this? Spleen. Yeah, this is a spleen.
Yeah.
You are seeing multiple small nodules. Okay, grey-white. All these are called tubercles or granulomas, anything you say. So this is all because of dissemination from the
Blood.
primary or secondary. From the blood, the bacilli disseminate and Once they enter the spleen, they proliferate and forms like this. So this is called biliary tuberculosis. This is due to dissemination. Is it clear? Tuberculosis?
Yeah.
So first you should know what is the definition, what is the cause of tuberculosis, what is Ziel-Nelson staining, acid-fast bacilli. After that primary, secondary. Primary progressive, secondary progressive. After that morphology, gross, how it looks, what is Ghon's complex, and in secondary also gross, how it looks, cavity and fibrous tissue and caseation. Microscopy same for all types, any tuberculosis, primary, secondary, miliary, or in the bone, in the lung, everywhere the microscopy will be same. Okay? So that finishes tuberculosis. Now comes to sarcoidosis. Sarcoidosis, it is a multi-system. What do you mean by multi-system? Yeah, multiple organs are involved. And the etiology is unknown. What is the cause of sarcoidosis? It is still unknown. There will be a bilateral hilar lymphadenopathy or lung involvement visible on chest radiograph, and eye and skin involvement occurs in 25% cases. Okay. So what is the pathogenesis? This is a disease of disordered immune regulation in a genetically predisposed person. Several immunologic abnormalities suggest the development of cell-mediated response. The process is driven by T helper cells. These abnormalities include, all these are features of these things. See, sarcoidosis is there. There is a disease. So, in tuberculosis, the cause is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. In sarcoidosis, the cause is unknown. And now we are saying it is a cell-mediated immunity. So, what are the things which should say that it is a cell-mediated immunity? That you should know. Okay? So, these are all their features. Okay? That means there will be intra-alveolar or interstitial T helper cells. T helper cells, whenever there are T helper cells, means it is a cell-mediated immune response. Expansion of T cell subsets. Increased T cell derived cytokines. Increase in several cytokines in the local environment. That means T helper cells are there, and these get activated and it induce the production of cytokines. All these features suggest that sarcoidosis is a cell-mediated immune response. All these are explanation of that only. Energy to common skin test, polygonal hypergamma-globulin, role of genetic factors. That means these are the things which suggest that sarcoidosis is a cell-mediated immune response. Okay, morphology. It is a granulomatous inflammation, but there is no caseation in sarcoidosis. So other than caseation, you should write all other things like epithelioid cells, giant cells, lymphocytes, and fibrous tissue. Okay? See, the first sentence, non-caseating epithelioid granuloma. If you write this, it will add the overall meaning. Okay? The full meaning will come. Non-caseating epithelioid granuloma. It is a sarcoidosis. Okay. So what that granuloma is composed of? Anywhere in the body granuloma is same. Okay? Just remove that caseating because it is a non-caseating. Then it is composed of epithelioid cells, lymphocytes, and giant cells. Okay. There are two things. Okay, one more thing. I told you the healing or once there is chronic inflammation is followed by healing. It is by fibroblast. So the fibroblast, what they deposit collagen. So at the end, what happens? The entire granuloma is replaced with a hyalinized scar. This is by fibroblast. There are two microscopic features you should know. Two other important macrophages are sometimes seen in granulomas: Schwann bodies laminated concretions composed of calcium and protein, asteroid bodies, stellate inclusions enclosed within giant cells. Their presence is not required for diagnosis of sarcopenia. This is all explanation. You just remember these two things: Schwann bodies and asteroid bodies. In tuberculosis, we told at the end the calcification is called Ranke complex. Okay? Whereas here also in sarcoidosis there is calcification which is called Schwann bodies. Second thing is asteroid bodies are, giant cells. There are some inclusions inside the giant cell. The explanation is all not known. There are some inclusion inside the giant cell. These inclusions are called asteroid bodies. Is it clear? Yeah. Okay. Schwann bodies and asteroid bodies. Whenever sarcoidosis comes and if morphology asks, you should not miss this sentence.
Yeah.
This is very, very important because to differentiate tuberculosis from sarcoidosis. Caseation necrosis is absent. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Morphology. The lungs are involved in 90%. Means the most common organ is lung in sarcoidosis. Granulomas predominantly involve the interstitium. What do you mean by interstitium? Alveoli is there and endothelium, blood vessel is there. In between the space, it is called interstitium. So, that part is involved, interstitium rather than air spaces, with some tendency to localize in connective tissue. In some 5 to 15%, the granulomas are replaced by diffuse interstitial fibrosis, resulting in so-called honeycomb lung. The granulomas are there. Okay? How the granulomas? It will be just in biliary tuberculosis we have seen. Focal lesions are there. Sometimes there will be diffuse involvement of this interstitium. So it becomes a honeycomb-like appearance. What is honeycomb? Yeah, you know that honey from where it is taken out? Yeah, bee's house.
Yes.
That is honeycomb. Understood?
Yes.
Honey comes from that bee's house, that whole house. It is called honeycomb, where the bees live. That is honeycomb. So the lung will become, because of the interstitial deposits of sarcoidosis, just like honeycomb, because the air spaces are not involved. In between space is there, surrounding the spaces, all the sarcoidosis lesions are there. So the lung becomes a honeycomb lung. That is called honeycomb lung. Intrathoracic and paratracheal lymph nodes are enlarged. The nodes are characteristically painless, firm and rubbery. Okay? There is difference between sarcoidosis lymph nodes and tuberculous lymph nodes. Tuberculous lymph nodes are matted. Matted means all are joined together. Okay? They are mixed like that. Okay? That is called matting. Matting means if two lymph nodes are there, they will combine together. That is called matting. Whereas in sarcoidosis it is painless, firm and rubbery. Unlike tuberculosis, lymph nodes in sarcoidosis are non-matted. See this, non-matted. That means they are discrete. Okay. What is this? I think you can't see anything here. This is an air space. Okay. Surrounding the air space, I told you. All this is sarcoidosis. You are seeing one big giant cell here, and this is not clear, but still you can see this is all granulomas. So you can write epithelioid cells, lymphocytes, fibrous tissue, all this. So this is a sarcoidosis slide. Skin lesions are seen in 25%, and subcutaneous nodules can occur in sarcoidosis. This is all the extra pulmonary manifestation of sarcoidosis. all organs are involved. In a nutshell, just remember any organ can be involved. So this all is an explanation. Okay. There is one thing, lacrimal gland, the tears which are secreted by lacrimal gland, which are located here. They will secrete tear, and that tear flows and they enter the
Yes, okay.
yeah. This is the lacrimal gland. If this lacrimal gland is infected with sarcoidosis, then that patient, he will be unable to secrete the tears. That is called Sicca syndrome. Can you see this? Sicca syndrome, where there is absence of secretion of tears. Okay, one more thing is parotitis. What is parotid gland? It is located here. What is the function of parotid gland?
Salivation.
Salivation. Okay. So if parotid gland is involved, there is no salivation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dry mouth.
So if parotid gland is involved, there is no saliva, that is called dry mouth. That is called xerostomia. So these two together, parotid and eye involvement, that is uvea of the eye. If these two are involved, then this is called Mikulicz syndrome. Just remember these names. Okay? Sicca syndrome, xerostomia, Mikulicz syndrome. One is eye, one is parotid. Together is called Mikulicz. Spleen is also involved, liver is involved, bone marrow is involved. All this is involvement. Whichever organ is involved, it will affect that organ. Liver is involvement, there will be abnormal liver function test. Is it clear? Sarcoidosis? In sarcoidosis, just there are few things to remember. One is, it is a non-caseating granulomatous. Etiology is unknown. All organs are involved. It is a multi-organ disease. Type of immunity is cell-mediated. So those examples I gave you for evidence. There will be increase in T helper cells, the lymph nodes are involved, energy, all these things. Morphology, non-caseating granulomatous lesion. Okay, it can occur in any organ. And there are two things, Schaumann bodies, which are calcification. Asteroid, inclusion in the giant cell. Okay, and other organs which are involved, lacrimal gland, Sicca, and parotid is dry mouth. Both together is it clear? Last is hypersensitivity pneumonitis. It is an immunologically mediated inflammatory lung disease that primarily affects the alveoli and is therefore called allergic alveolitis. Most often it is an occupational disease that results from sensitivity. Damage in hypersensitivity occurs at the level of alveoli. In sarcoidosis, we have discussed it is in the interstitium, not alveoli, in between. Here it is alveoli. These are few examples of hypersensitivity reaction. Just remember these names: farmer's lung, Bergersosis, maple humidifier lung, malt workers, cheese washer, millers, pigeons. Okay? These are the examples. Okay. Morphology, it will be a patchy involvement. It is not a diffuse involvement. Patchy means patches will be there. Mononuclears are infiltrated in pulmonary interstitium with a characteristic very bronchial acidity. Lymphocyte predominant, but plasma cells and epithelial cells are also present. Again, the thing is cell. Okay? This is again a granulomatous inflammation. There is no caseation. Okay? So lymphocytes, plasma cells, all things you can write. There is giant cell also here. Can you see this?
Yeah.
This is the big giant cell.
So all the features except the disease.
Caseation. Clinical feature present as fever, cough, dyspnea. Whenever these things comes, Okay, the clinical features, it's very easy. If infection is there, there will be fever, all this. If lung is involved, then cough and dyspnea. Like this, any respiratory problem, any disease of respiration comes, disease of lung comes, it is very easy to write the clinical features. Okay, if infection is there, fever and all the other features you can write. And if lung is involved, cough, dyspnea. So there is fever, cough, dyspnea, and constitutional signs and symptoms.
And weight loss.
Weight loss is also there, particularly in tuberculosis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.